This ain't advice. I'm not your advisor. And as they say in the biz, slap that subscribe button. We're only about 100,000 away from 1 million. We're almost there. Welcome to another Buck Talk episode. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get to our question. Very new to investing. Might have bought myself into trouble with Vanguard ETFs. Need advice before the market opens tomorrow. That's exciting. All right. They're saying, you think you've screwed up. You've been wanting to get into investing for years, but didn't know where to start. And after talking to a pretty savvy and wealthier friend, you got the ball rolling and put a good chunk of cash into a money market account with Vanguard ready to trade. Your friend provided a spreadsheet of his allocations, so you weren't going to be investing blindly. Seems like a nice guy, but rather following his template. COVID hit the market hard, and you're happy to dodge the bullet by not investing sooner. Yeah, you definitely got lucky there. Then, when the rally started next week, you jumped in. When the rally started last week, next week, you jumped in and invested $3,000 in ETFs in the U.S. market, saw gains, and then put the other $9,000 you had in your money market account. You were up $500 and contacted by your friend. He reached out to you, huh? And he said to invest more cash if you had it on hand. You did it, and you were in for $20,000. Now you're saying you got ahead of yourself. It's a lot of money for you. It's about 1/3 of your liquid assets, which is insane now that you type it out. I mean, what are the liquid assets for, I guess? It's not totally crazy to have 1/3 of your liquid assets invested in the stock market. I think a lot of people have maybe more than that, but it doesn't matter. So the market dipped on Friday, and now you're down 150 total. His advice is to ride it out, but you're coming at things from a different place. He can afford to let his investments sit for 5 to 10 years, but you may not be able to do so. So this is a high risk for you. Man, if you need the cash, you shouldn't be investing it at all. And it sounds like you know that, but if this is short-term money, it shouldn't be in the stock market. Okay, so now you say, obviously I know you can never predict the market day to day, but from what you're reading, you're assuming that we're still in for a bit of a decline. Now, see, you're already getting things wrong. It's certainly possible that the next thing we'll get is a decline, but we're already down a lot. The question isn't, do we get bad news? The question is, do we get news that's worse than the market expected on Friday? And you're certainly not the person that I would guess knows the direction of that. Frankly, I don't think anybody knows. But you assuming we're still in for decline, I think that's the wrong thing to assume. I think it's basically a coin flip. All right, so you're assuming we're in for a bit of a decline until there's some good news on the COVID front. Meanwhile, everything's getting worse. All right. So what you're considering doing, let me scroll up here, is putting in a market order to sell off 2/3 of what you bought, so that hopefully the sale triggers early tomorrow morning and you don't lose much more than the 150. And then plan to invest again in the coming weeks or months. You don't anticipate striking at an ideal time, as obviously you don't know what you're doing, but you would like to get into the market during the crisis as you think you'll come out stronger, but you went in too fast with too much. You're not trying to be a day trader. You are trying to be a day trader. That's exactly what you're doing here. Moving things around all the time, but for now you want to pull back a substantial amount, then let it lie. You got another quote. Oh, I'll keep reading, so I was going to say something about putting in this order. You put in a market sale order today, Sunday. Is it likely to execute first thing tomorrow when the market opens, allowing you to freeze your losses where they are now? Or might you have to ride out a day of substantial loss for it to execute it? It's be your first stock sale, so info here is appreciated. All right, so it's Vanguard. You're selling big Vanguard funds. It's going to execute as soon as the market opens. However, the market does not have to open where it closed on Friday. That's not how it works. When it reopens, it does not trade exactly where it was trading and then slowly go down. It can open way above or way below where it closed the day before, especially after a weekend, especially with as volatile as the market is. So it is going to execute basically right away. If you put that in tonight as a market order, when you go check the trade tag tomorrow, it's going to say, I don't know what time zone you're in. If you're in the East Coast, it's going to say like 9:30 and 6 seconds or something like that, and maybe even 1 second for the time that it was executed. But it might be at a very different price. You do not get to lock in Friday's price by selling it. So with that said, I'm pretty confused. I mean, what's the target? How much do you actually want in the market? Because you have invested during the COVID crisis. You've done already what you just told me you want to do in the future. So I think it's fair if $20,000 was more than you wanted to put in. So if you wanted to take out whatever you need to take out and then just leave it, that seems fine. But you're saying you want to take it out and then put it back in later, or some amount of it back in. And that's the part that just doesn't make any sense to me. It sounds like you're trying to time it. It sounds like you think you know that the market's going to go down in the short run, and then you're going to jump in, but then it's going to go up in the long run. And that was what you tried to do the first time, right? So I'm pretty confused why you think you're going to do a better job the second time. Good luck figuring out what to do. Hopefully you can get the execution you want. Putting it in order the night before, when you're really worried about the price that the trade's going to happen at, is not something that people do very often. So yeah, maybe think twice about that too. Good luck.